Evening all. So what we're going to do here is we're going to answer some letters from the Bulging sack of news. We've had correspondence. I'm still shocked by this premise, but anyway, let's get into it. So Opposum, Red Guard, Pro Dude, he sent a really good email that I think is very topical at the moment, so let's discuss it. You can read it, but basically what he's saying is planetary conquest is coming, and I think there is perhaps a concern that there's not going to be or rather the other way around, there's actually not going to be many people who want to actually go and own a district. There are many reasons why this is perhaps something to be aware of. You need at least 16 people on to defend every day, otherwise you're going to be attacked. You do get a warning, but I think really the email is a very good one, crafted to basically say, look, what's your opinion on this? There's surely going to be so many districts and surely not enough corps who are actually going to have the balls and the ability to defend against them. Now, let me maybe give you some feedback of what I thought here, because I'm kind of the other way. I do agree there's probably not going to be a lot of corps who really want to kind of go against toe-to-toe with some of the elite guys. But I think on the flip side, if you look maybe at the comparison in EVE is deep space. So you've got maybe a good few thousand deep space 0.0, as in nobody owns them, systems. And when I first started playing the game, 10 years or so ago, they were particularly empty. But over time, the infrastructure, the capability, and I think the ISK and the reward is certainly there now. Now, pretty much people fight over every single system, because there is not just the ownership here that really people are kind of combating against. The issue is more a fact that people will measure their success by how many districts they own, by how many solar systems they own, by how many alliances are in their coalition, whatever it may be. And that's going to be a big thing in Dust. I think certainly, there's going to be a situation where some of the bigger corps don't need any more districts. There's no real benefit from having them, other than the fact that they just have to beat their opponents. So currently, the only marker of success is your KD ratio for the corps, perhaps. Which is causing, I think, a few challenges, because I think a lot of people are actually quite concerned about this. And I think there's even been rigging of certain things as well. I mean, there's lots of things what we call ringers. So you've got almost maps where people are deliberately shooting, easy characters. I dare I say, maybe even stage characters. Surely not, but yeah, I think there may be, just to get the KD ratio up. Now, I don't know. Is that true? Maybe, who knows. But I think the same is going to happen with planetary conquest, because what people are going to basically say is, haha, I've got 20 regions, I've got 20 districts, I've got 100 districts, look how elite we are, bro, YOLO. It's going to be that sort of mentality. So don't ever for a moment think that because it's there no one's going to go and take it. Everybody will take these, even if the cost and the resource to go and do it is so phenomenally high, which it would appear to be with 80 million ISK in Dust is quite a lot of ISK. It's a huge amount of ISK, in fact. And that buys you a set of, 150 clones? You then have those 150 clones ready for the defense of your region or your district. Or you project those clones onto another region, district, I keep saying region, to then take them. So there's going to be, and again, just bear that in mind, there's also going to be a loss of clones as you project. So, I would agree with the email saying that the distance between the planets is going to come into play. You're probably going to have a lot of people who will choose very carefully and very wisely where to position their initial attack and try and get a district, because the last thing you want to do is be kind of sandwiched between a couple of rich corps who will quite frankly come at you because you're the easy target. It's going to happen. I think districts are going to be something that people would just measure their EPs upon. I don't like it anymore, because I think our corporation would be quite happy with one district, to be honest. Little log cabin just to call our own, the the usual place, somewhere to park the car at the end of the day. I highly suspect that we will have to fight tooth and claw for our single district if we go for a single one. Chances are we may go for many and then just see how long we last them, but I don't know. I honestly think that there's going to be a real kind of shuffling of feet to see who moves first. I suspect some of the very rich corps will move first, and they will probably regret it, because they will be immediately attacked by you know, every Tom, Dick and Harry, just, I guess, to test the mechanics. So, you know, you're going to have a lot of rich corps with like 20 people in who will, you know, initially put up quite a good defense, and then, you know, after day 4 of having to defend against a 500 or 1,000 man corporation who every day will just roll a different team in, the smaller corps are going to drop out, and then it'll be like unchained, unshackled from the, you know, the perils of dust, you know, district warfare, or whatever the meme will become. I'm sure it will be, you know, equivalent to holding space in Eve. A lot of people will just say, well, we're in it for the fights, you know, we're not in it to hold space, hold districts, whatever. I hope it doesn't, but I think certainly a lot of people are really hanging out for this mechanic. So, you know, I think a lot of people are kind of, you know, tapping their foot with their arms folded, staring into the window of CCP here, saying, it better be good. Don't be surprised if it's a bit kind of clunky and and maybe wrong, because again, you know, a lot of the initial sovereignty stuff was pretty broken as well. Give it a chance, okay? My recommendation, if for what it's worth, would be as soon as the planetary mechanic comes in, or planetary conquest comes in, go for it for one region, one district, hold it as long as you can, and see what happens. If you find that you're swamped, move to another district and see how you get on. So there we go. Let's have another letter. Sue. Now, this is a really good one. A lot of people have been asking me about this. With the impending skill reset, there's a number of questions coming up in terms of what's a good weapon to go for. A lot of people are really maybe realizing now that this could be the last roll of the dice. So if you change your skills now, you're probably going to be lumbered with it. And Chaos here has asked really around, you know, what about the mass driver, this very particular weapon? And I'm a big fan of the mass driver, but we'll get on to that. I think it's a good point. You could pretty much waste a huge amount of skill points after the reset if you say, okay, I want to go and do a laser. Now you then get laser. If you've never used laser before, you immediately put it up to level 5 or even level 4, and you've wasted a huge amount of skill points on a gun that you'll probably hate and will never use. Now, I really would stress, be really careful with this, because for example, I started using the mass driver. Let's talk about this mass driver first, maybe. Mass driver is a great gun. It's not for me. I particularly like the mass driver, but I wouldn't want to get it up to prototype level. I know it's devastatingly good, I know it's brilliant, and I know a lot of you are now kind of, you know, laughing and throwing cans at the screen. I agree, you know, it's your preference. It's not for me. For no other reason than I think I find it quite difficult to get kills with it as well. It's a fun gun, and I usually get loads of assists, but rarely do I get kills. And again, I know that's linked to the level of the weapon, the proficiency of the weapon, the fit of the suit, the damage modifiers, etc., etc., etc. But I think, you know, this is why I've kind of picked the guns that I feel maybe fit my gameplay style better. And I have put a fair bit of thought into this, because obviously, you know, I've said in previous videos, I really ballsed up the selection of skills when I when I went through this character. I'm really glad that they're giving us another role, because I would be gutted if I was stuck with the skills I've got now. Maybe giving an example. I've got Forged Gun to level 5, proficiency to level 3. This Forged Gun just rips open stuff, and it's fun. I like the Forged Gun. It fits my playstyle of loving. I love to hunt tanks. So that ticks the box. I like scout suits, I like lasers, I like assault rifles. So they're also quite highly skilled parts of my fit. I used to love tanks, don't particularly like tanks anymore, only because I'm just a bit bored of them. I ran them for maybe a couple of weeks continually, and I actually got bored of it. I was winning, you know, rarely died. And you know, there's nothing, I guess people think I'm a bit stupid for doing that, but you know, there's nothing worse than getting to a point when you think, shall I play Dust? Oh, do you know what? No, can't be bothered. And that was what happened. All of a sudden I stopped logging in. So think carefully about what's going to keep you maybe playing the game as well. I love scout suits. I love maybe doing the little bit of covert, you know, attack and defend kind of stuff. I love the range. I love the short range as well, and the speed. So to me, that's kind of an obvious one: lasers, SMGs, scout suits, and so on. And I think what I'll do is I'll re-roll my tank skills into maybe some of the weaponry, because again, I think I've got level 2 laser, which is pretty bad. But I've got level 4 assault rifle, yet I never use them. So a little bit of, you know, jiggering and just moving it around and just getting what, the fit that you feel is appropriate is going to be a good thing to do. On the other side, I think if you want to try a weapon, I would say you've got, what, a month? No, you've got less. You've got 3 weeks to really try that weapon now. Get as much skill points, well, get the skill points, scrape them together to get that that ability to use the weapon. Try it out, knowing that you can have a better version of this. But, you know, if you've never used the mass driver, or if you've never used the pistol, or if you've never used the SMG, have a go with it now. If you feel that this is roughly is something you could work with, then maybe put a few more points in it and start to theory craft some of your fits. But again, I think you just need to make a call on what you feel is you know, the right thing to do. So it's a tricky one. You know, I don't really want to kind of say, yeah, go mass driver, yeah, go this. I think it's up to you how you want to play. It's like other players will love to just put, you know, 4 damage mods, you know, complex damage mods on a laser or an assault rifle on a prototype suit and just run that round and blab. Well, that's their style. You know, again, if I came up against that in the same suit but with my tanked suit on, maybe I'll kill him. I don't know, but that's, to me, I think survivability is actually quite important. I wouldn't underestimate survivability. I think it's a key thing of this game as well, particularly when you're going to have larger maps, you're going to have more serious battles. I think the survivability and the ability to revive and res is going to be essential when you come to Planetary Conquest. So that's all I can say, really. Have a look around at the various weapons. I'd say Mass Driver is a good one maybe to get to level 3 and then stick at that, because the XO is a pretty good variant of it. So there we go. Let's have a last letter now. So this was actually from a guy in our corp, Chihiro. So this is I love this this kind of really advanced thinking here, which is, you know, these guys play as scouts as well. So obviously you've seen I play as a scout. I like the scout suit. It again makes me smile every time I can run and jump over someone. But here I think they're playing in a very different way. So this is interesting because I play quite an aggressive scout. Think of it as a Boy Scout with a shotgun, and these guys are playing very much as kind of sneaky, you know, assassin style. Get behind the scene, hack something, make it our own, then kind of return back to the group. And I think this was really a good point because, again, you know, I love the idea of outriders. That to me is absolutely brilliant. In our court battles, I think we've had some really good court battles lately, and we've won because we've maybe had the wild card, I guess, quote, outrider, who is the person who is going to float, jump around, maybe go and do something a bit expected, set up a crossfire, flank the enemy. We even had in a previous map, Eddie Rio, he actually managed to get behind the enemy, and all of a sudden they're being attacked from behind and front, and it just caused, you know, absolute chaos in the ranks, and we managed to get, you know, push forward and push them back. So I highly rate scout suits, and I think if you're interested in maybe having a bit of a wild card, if you've got a few skill points, I think, you know, most people would just do a shotgunning scout and think, oh well, I died 20 times, that's crap. I wouldn't do that. I would maybe say, you know, a scout suit is actually pretty good if you maybe do the logical things with it. It's a good sniping suit. A lot of people sit with logistics currently. Or assault suits. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think scout suits, you know, they've got a general, they've got a very fast shield charge rate. You can make the shields quite powerful. You can also put the dampeners on them and reduce their profile quote quite a bit as well. So, you know, I mean, again, I need to theorycraft that, but I think, you know, scout suits are a very nice, versatile, difficult to hit, fast moving suit. And I think certainly it kind of suits, again, my playstyle, but it also, I think, suits the, a good team should have maybe at least one scout. Like a Logi, you need Logi bros. If you haven't got a Scouty bro, then, you know, maybe you're losing a bit of that range or that width. You know, if we were playing football, you'd call that width. And I think really this is where it comes down to. If you've got the ability to... I'm doing donuts, by the way. The enemy team were just not doing anything. So I'm actually just trying to do donuts. Anyway, forget that. So I think, if you've got a range of suits that you basically can deploy in a team, a scout suit's maybe not a bad one. I do like the idea of them being maybe dampened, so they're very difficult to see. And again, just remember, if you walk, you can actually reduce your profile, your scan profile, let's quote. which is also quite a useful thing to do, because if you've got a particularly fast scout as well, you can immediately rush out and get drop pads down, and you can do a fair bit of damage as a scout pretty much from the word go. Not necessarily in kills, but in hacking, and I think prepping drop sites, prepping and capturing certain things behind enemy lines, because again, you know, it's difficult to tell when certain things have been hacked if it's not the nodes. The nodes will obviously give you that warning, nothing else does. Or rather it does, but very few people actually notice it. And I think that's actually quite a good thing to have, because again, it's all about really having that you know, that view of what can this team do. Is it just going to be a group of heavies, or a group of lodges, or a group of assault people, or is it going to have width and range and scale and scope? And I think certainly some of the battles we've had where we've had that range of roles and tactics, but also fits, we've done usually quite well. Anyway, 3 very quick letters there. Please send me your emails. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. Send me your funny moments as well. I'll do a video next time on them. There's been quite a few of them. They're quite funny. And sorry if I haven't used your letter yet. Just keep sending them through, and we'll do some more of these. There we go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.